Hey, Julie Roussel here in empowering you with the Saturday Night Skinny. But it's not on Saturday night. I know, right? But it's basically the Saturday Skinny is some tips, tricks, like life hacks, a little inspiration here and there. Just some basic tips to help you feel beautiful and confident inside and out. So like I said, this is a Saturday Night Skinny. I moved it to Monday. But hey, being the admin means I get to do things like that. But there's a specific reason why. So the Saturday Night Skinny was moved because I was currently running an experiment, but I think it's called an experiment. But I was running an experiment and I wanted to explain and see if it was actually working as expected. So as always with any of the videos that you find in this group, it is a closed group, so it's just for those that are members. If you hear anything that you find helpful, would you please leave a reaction, drop a comment in the thread, or feel free to PM me or ask questions anytime. You know, I'm always happy to help you and share the things that I've learned, usually due to some major mistake, and hope that it helps you out. So let me explain about today's topic is about, should you use old and expired makeup? And a lot of times people say, yes, go right ahead, it's perfectly fine. But several months ago, I noticed during a sinus infection that the area, above my eyelids, right on the top of the eyelid here, all the way up to the top, and around the bottoms here, that it was very reddish purple, and it stayed that way. It was very itchy, very irritated. And this was after a sinus infection, but I thought it was due to that, but it didn't fade. And I tried different things to discover what was causing it. Maybe it was my allergies, maybe it was contacts, maybe it was a face wash that got too close to the eyes, although I doubted that. Maybe it was my mascara, maybe it was one of the lash products that I'm using. And some of the pics to demonstrate what I'm talking about will be in the comment thread a little bit later so that you can check them out and see if you notice a difference, because I thought it was just me for the longest time. And I knew that it wasn't the majority of the RF products that I was using just because I hadn't really changed products. I'd been using the same ones for the last several months. But there was one thing that I forgot. Yeah, my makeup. I didn't even look at that. I didn't even, think for 1 second that it was. I thought it was everything else, so I started changing everything else. I was using a different concealer on the upper and lower eyelid areas than I normally was. And during the holidays and throughout the new year, and this is during the time that my husband had lost his job, and I was trying to cut as many expenses as possible, and I figured I'd just, use it because I had it there, and, I might as well just use it up because I don't want to buy anything new right now. I wanted to be as careful as possible. And I decided I'd just use what I'd had because it was pretty cheap and, I'd had it for a long time. Even though I had sensitive eyes, I knew it was okay for me to use it prior to because I'd been using it for, years and years prior to changing to RF. And it was sheer cover and I had no idea how old it was. It could have been up to, 4 years or so. And what I noticed, and I really didn't check it, I'll be honest. I didn't check at the date. I didn't look to see when I'd purchased it last. I really didn't check out the consistency of the product. I just grabbed it and started wearing it. And what I noticed after that amount of time is that after applying it, later on during the day, I noticed a little itching, a little irritation, a little redness, and over time it progressively worsened. And I didn't realize that it was about 4 years old. And I also started doing some research recently on how long you should be using and keeping makeup. And especially when there's no expiration date printed on it, because they're not required by the government usually to put an expiration date, because there are preservatives and things inside the formulas to keep the bacteria growth to a minimum. But again, that only lasts for so long. Kind of like the expiration dates on the back of food and cereal boxes to let you know when it was purchased and when they should get rid of it by. So what I did was I Googled some articles and also talked to a few nurses. And basically one of the things that the article stressed was that for foundation, for powders, concealers, they should be used or discarded within 12 months after opening them. So say for example, I happen to have some makeup here. I happen to have some makeup here that I kept. Now, some of this is powders and creams, mostly though powders and concealers that I was using, you know, face powders. I don't know how well you can see it there, but yeah, there's still powder in there. You know, and there's still powder in this one. But like I was saying, what I realized is that they need to be discarded at 12 months after opening. But again, there's no expiration date on any of these. You know, there's nothing to tell you when it was purchased. There's nothing to tell you how long after it's opened. And what I discovered after a little bit of experimenting is that, as well as taking a look at the article, is that over time, the formulas in your powders, your foundations, your liquids, your concealers, they start to oxidize and degrade. But basically what happens is it breaks down the formulas gradually. So the efficacy starts up here and slowly drops off. And over time, it starts to harbor bacteria, you know, inside your liquid eyeliner that you've had forever, or a blush that you've had for, you know, 3 years or longer. And that having that bacteria that starts to grow inside those formulas, you will have things such as you might have infections. You could have extra sensitivity in those areas, redness, itchiness, irritation. And I have sensitive eyes to begin with, and I wear contacts. So you'd think that I'd know better, right? Let me see if it helps. I mean, if you look at me right now, I'm not wearing anything on the top. And let me take the light off so you can see right here. Okay, so hopefully this is a little bit better. But if you take a look, the area right here, just on my lash line here, and on the upper eyelid right here, and this one, are a little bit reddish purple. Now what I've done is I've put some different products on the top to moisturize and to soothe the redness and irritation. So I almost look as if I have like my own eyeshadow eyeliner, but it turns funky colors like a reddish purple. And I usually don't like that, so I usually cover it up. But my experience with using expired products, because I've been doing this prior to using RF years ago. And when I stopped wearing a lot of those makeups, it tended to solve the problem. But what I'm trying to say is that I had thought it was everything but my makeup. It didn't even cross my mind. And what I did recently is I purchased some new mineral-based makeup, things that I've used before, but that were designed for more sensitive skin. And I've also been using Soothe 2 and the Bright Eye Complex around my eye area here to get rid of that redness and purpleness. And I have noticed a difference, I'll be honest, because you'd think that for Go Naked Day, you know, that I wouldn't have to show off, you know, the red eyelids, but unfortunately it was still there, although it is fading. So what I have noticed over the time is the decrease in the redness, decrease in sensitivity, irritation, itchy. My eyes don't have that purpleness to them as much, and I can go throughout the day without having to put on a lot of concealer. So I think I'm gonna have to cut out wearing, you know, even more concealer. But I noticed that I need less makeup to cover up things, and I kind of like that, because I'm not one for a lot of makeup anyways. So what I've learned out of this is I'm not going to try to save money by reusing old expired makeup, especially when I don't know how long it's been here. It could have been 5 years. It could have been 2 years, you know, and I'll be honest, you really don't know. There's no expiration, unless there's an expiration date printed on the package. Because if you think about it, would you drink milk that's expired? Would you feed it to your kids? No. Same thing for food that has mold growing on it. You wouldn't. The same thing applies to your makeup. You know, and if you don't look carefully, you may not notice the disintegration of the product and the formula over time. So make sure you're careful about that. And what you can do is take a marker, and on the bottom or anywhere on here, a Sharpie, and you could print the date that you open it, and that will kind of help you, give you an idea of how long until you need to discard it. And some of the products that you're using, like for example, if you happen to use any of the RF products that have a sunscreen in it, they happen to give you an expiration date on them, which I absolutely love because it kind of gives me an idea when I need to discard them. For example, where's my sunscreen here? Sunscreen, yep. On the bottom of the sunscreen here, I don't know how well you can see it, but there is an expiration date. And that always gives me an idea as to how long it should last. And I absolutely love that. So if you heard any, and again, what I learned out of this, number one, don't try to be cheap and save yourself a lot of money by using old expired makeup, because it only makes a bigger hassle. So put the open date on the package and discard it after it's past that expiration date. So if you heard something that you find helpful, please do me a favor, leave a reaction or a comment in the thread if you'd like to ask questions, or if you happen to need a recommendation on some products that would help you with the redness and irritation around the eyes. I'm hoping that I can get rid of it so that I no longer have to wear anything around that area. That is my goal, be concealer free. So also I will be placing the links in the comment thread below so that you can check out the articles on your own, because it also explains different things like lipstick, eyeliner, eyeshadow, how long they should be used and when they should be discarded. So I hope that you found this helpful, and if so, like I said, leave me a reaction, a comment, and feel free to PM, text, or ask questions anytime. You know, I'm always happy to share the things that I've learned through my little mistakes now and then. So hope to see you the next Saturday night with Saturday Night Skinny. Have a great day.